My name is Kamogelo Molobye. I am a choreographer, performer, and a lecturer specializing in movement studies and choreographic practices. And I have currently debuted a production at the 2021 Virtual National Arts Festival French program. I'm not particularly sure what drew me to performance or to dance specifically. I recall I watched a production and there was a girl, Nomcebisi Moyigwa, who is now a very good friend of mine, was performing in that show, and I was wondering, this is something interesting. The way she was communicating through her body, the themes and concepts of the production, I was like, okay, there is something here that is quite interesting. And I think once I saw more of the works in the drama department, I became more interested in unpacking why that urge to want to know more. So in 2011, when I registered for theatre studies, I then got an opportunity to perform for Gavin Creston's production, Sub. And I had never had any background or training in dance, in theatre, and it was quite surprising how I managed to adapt so easily. It was almost as though my body was an incubator of physical movement that was waiting to be unleashed. The theme of my practice, or practices, because I do more than one thing, centers around myself. I position myself quite intentionally in my work, and so my race, my blackness, my gender, and my queerness. And there's a constant questioning of what my identity and myself within the multiple identities that I occupy can be investigated and explored. The things I aim to interrogate and explore through dance, firstly, is to demystify it. I'm interested in demystifying dance into movement and to have audiences realize that they move every day and that the pedestrian movements that we do are what create what dance becomes. I always tell my students that not all dance is movement, but all movement can be dance. And that becomes quite important, a point of departure for me, an important point of departure. Within my work is an understanding of an exploration, which becomes quite important, a questioning that is constant and is persistent and is insistent on wanting to know things. I have currently debuted a production at the National Arts Festival titled Bina Bina, which means dance and sing. And the work was initially an exploration of the Botswana dance music and dance styles in 2020 initially. Then COVID-19 happened and I had to put that on hold. But I spent a large part of last year not moving, being confined in my space and missing moving with colleagues, with cast members, with students. And I would go on social media and there was always this interesting release from South Africans on wanting to move, wanting to dance, wanting to go to gatherings that are social and cultural and religious. And the work developed into that. It became a wanting to play, a wanting to explore, a wanting to go back to movement. And so the idea, the concept of Bina and Bina, dancing and singing, became quite important in how South Africans really wanted to celebrate freedom away from lockdown restrictions and confinement. Again, in 2021, the production was meant to come for the Wits Theatre with the same students, and that did not happen. And I wrote a proposal. I applied for the National Arts Festival and I put it out to the universe and said, please make this work happen. And when I got an affirming response from the National Arts Festival, I started to work on the production with a much smaller cast. I think a week before the festival started, third wave became a thing, and the president then put us in level 4. And so once we went on to level 4, the production had to be online completely. But because the production was rehearsed as a live production, I had to think through how do I capture the production cinematographically, but also make it interesting for an audience that is sitting at home and consuming it digitally. And so I collaborated with a fantastic performer who's also in the production, but also a cinematographer and editor, Smangaliso Ngwenya, who really managed to find a cinematographic rhythm to the editing of the production. It was a massive challenge to find that sort of sweet spot where the camera and the editing and all these technical things marry within the theatrical and the live and the ephemeral, that at times becomes lost. But I think we managed to capture those quite well within the production and what it's become at the moment.